Hey everyone, I just thought I wanted to share some time with you all, and maybe you can share this with your friends or family if you'd like. And I'm going to go ahead and share a very big Native American secret with you. It's kind of crazy that I'm even willing to share this with anyone, but I'm going on a limb here. I can't even believe I'm talking about this. I was thinking we should make some Frybread together. And I know it's probably a crazy thing, like, man, Frybread.
Frybread that can walk across water.
Maybe you haven't, maybe you have, but I was thinking it'd be fun if we got together and we're able to make some, and let's see how it turns out. So if you'd like, feel free to follow along, and I really hope we're able to make magic. And I hope that you, as well as your friends, enjoy this. So if there's a couple of veterans out there who kind of can give me extra pointers after this, always grateful. You may wonder, what is Frybread for some of you, or you may also wonder what it originates from, and I'm be more than happy to share that with you. The birthplace of Frybread actually started in 1864, particularly during the time of what we call the Long Walk. And it was a time when the United States government was trying to have Indians removed from different regions of the America and put them into pretty much prison camps. And the Long Walk era is when the Navajo people first began making Frybread due to very scarce rations. After the Long Walk was deemed a failure, the United States government and the Navajo came together in 1868 and came up with a treaty which allowed the Navajo people to return back to their homeland. Today, Frybread is primarily used to celebrate perseverance and made during special occasions or celebrations. Other tribes also make Frybread throughout North America. So let's get started. I'm gonna go head over to the kitchen and I'll go ahead and share what we're gonna need. You can start out with wearing an apron just to make sure that your shirt stays clean. These are always optional, always in fashion. They tie behind your back there, always in season. So here's the secret ingredient. You guessed it, bluebird flour. Now, other flour can work, but there's a special spot in all Native American hearts, and that's bluebird flour. Another thing, baking powder. If you have baking powder, we're gonna need some of that. We're also gonna need salt. So make sure you get that, okay? Hey honey, come here. Oh, yeah, we're gonna need some honey too. Don't forget the oil. This is the sauce. Some people use lard. Back in the day, Navajo people used to use sheep fat. So, but this is kind of more healthy. And you know, one of the things that's kind of looked over or looked past is you want to use warm water. Exactly, maybe like 1 cup or 2 cups. Let's go with 2 cups. What you're thinking, you're probably like, no, traditional people don't use measuring cups. We use our hands. But we're going to use the cup just so we can visually understand, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to put in 2 cups of, so 4 cups in total of bluebird flour, or any flour of your choice. So just guesstimating here, we're going to go ahead with 1, 2, 3, and 4. And once we're done with that, we're gonna also, this is the stuff, thanks Kim if you're watching, this is the secret ingredient that we're gonna use to make it fluffy. Some people use dry fat milk, but I'm gonna use kind of 1.5 tablespoons of this stuff. And I'm kind of be liberal with it as well. And it depends on the chubbiness of your hand, but I usually go about that much salt. And if you need a spoon or something to kind of measure, that's how it looks on a table. It's probably like a quarter of a tablespoon, but in my hand it's about that much. And I'll go ahead and mix this together, just like so. So once we have our baking powder, salt, and flour put into our bowl and we mix it up well, this is going to be the important part, because we're going to take our warm water, remember it's warm, and we're going to go ahead and pour just a little bit at a time. And you might not even use the whole 2 cups, which is completely fine. Some pour there. And we're going to just start mixing. And your dough should start having conversations. So one of the cool things that my grandma used to say was always make like a nice little area here where you can pour your water. And you just want a little bit at a time. That's what we were talking about. And you just want to fold it over and just continue this process just like we're doing here. Just a little bit at a time. You know, maybe put on some Golden Girls while you're making this, or I prefer Andy Griffin or The Office. So this is just a good time just to kind of think and yeah, put some good thoughts into your dough, you know what I mean? So I added more flour, not much, just adding little pieces at a time just to make that sticky dough kind of become more soft and dough-like. And this is what we're getting here. And you can still see a little bit of that loose flour on the wall. So I'm just rolling my dough until it gets that nice consistency there. So we're just continuing to mix. And this is kind of like the most fun part. So I'm adding just a hair more flour, and it's really coming together. Now, if you're worried that your dough might be a little too hard, or it's just not, feels like it's not coming out right, you kind of want a nice substance where it's like really nice and like soft, just like that. If it's a little too hard, it kind of probably means that you might have put a little too much salt, and you don't want that. So if you want to test drive your dough, try making a small batch first. Now we have our dough nice and kneaded out. We're going to go ahead and cover it and let it rest for about 5 minutes. While we're waiting for our dough to rest and rise for about 5 minutes, we're going to go ahead and get our oil ready. You usually want to use probably one whole one of these, and what I did was already kind of get it started. And you probably want it deep enough for your dough, so I'd say no less than ½ an inch into your pot. And let's put our heat onto medium to high heat, and let's get started. This is where we have to execute very high caution. You don't want to have any water near your pot once it gets hot, because the oil could explode and it become very dangerous. So if you're cooking with young ones, it's probably best that you go ahead and kind of take care of this part. And but other than that, you know, just be safe. Once we have our dough and we let it rise for about 5 minutes, you see it kind of expanded and rises up, so it's pretty sweet, right? What we're going to want to do, this is a big controversial thing. Why it's controversial is it's kind of, you kind of need a little bit of practice to use your hands to make your dough round. This is where you either can use a rolling pin or your hands. I'm going to use my hands for this one, and I'll show you how to. Fortunate for you, you're working with a professional. This is my second time. Let's get started. So we're going to go ahead and tear a small portion off the dough so we can make a little ball like so. And what we can first start out doing is start squeezing out the edges, and if it's still kind of sticking to you a little bit, feel free to put some flour onto your hands. But we're going to just work out the edges just in a circular motion, just like so. I know all my friends that are going to be watching this are going to laugh at me, and that's okay. It's a small price to pay, but this is how you get it done. You want to bounce it off the palm, the chubby part of your hand right there, and you should get your dough to start flailing out, and you'll start seeing it to expand. Look at this. Oh, man. You got your dough nice and round and, you know, kind of measured to the pot size. You're going to want to make a hole in the center of your dough so there's some room for the pressure and oil to kind of escape. This is a nice little test to see that your oil is hot enough, is that it'll start to bubble just like that. Now, placing in your oil, lay it in one side at a time and lightly drop it, okay? I want to just go ahead and just give it a little twirl, just like so, and you'll start to see the edges start to turn brown. That's how you know when to flip it. With that grease, give it a little love tap on the side of the pan. Oh yeah. Add a little honey. Ooh. Let's give her a try. Yep. I hope you and your family enjoy. Thank you so much for joining me in making this Frybread, and nothing but love to you and your family. I hope all of you have a great time making this, and I thank you so much for watching this, and nothing but love to you and your family always, and continue to be good to your fellow man, and thanks again.